Text 2. ऋषिरुवाचा मे किधो राजपुत्रित्थम् आत्मानं प्रति अनिन्दिते भगवांस्ते अक्षरो गर्भम् आदुरात् सम्प्रपच्यते. The sage said, "Do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. The infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead will shortly enter your womb as your son." Purport. Kardamuni encouraged his wife not to be sorry, thinking herself unfortunate, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his incarnation was going to come from her body. Text 3. Dhrita vratasi bhadram te dhamen niyamena cha tapo dravina dhanaischa shraddhaya cheshwaram bhaja. You have undertaken sacred vows. God will bless you. Hence you should worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control, religious observances, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity. Purport. In order to spiritually advance or to achieve the mercy of the Lord, one must be self-controlled in the following manner. He must be restrained in sense gratification and must follow the rules and regulations of religious principles. Without austerity and penance, and without sacrificing one's riches, one cannot achieve the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Kardamuni advised his wife, "You have to factually engage in devotion service with austerity and penance, following the religious principles and giving charity. Then the Supreme Lord will be pleased with you and he will come as your son." Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Text 4. Svatvayārādhitah shuklo vitanvanmamakam yashah chettate hridaya granthim audarya brahma bhavanah. The personality of Godhead being worshipped by you will spread my name and fame. He will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching the knowledge of Brahman. Purport. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes to disseminate knowledge for the benefit of all people, he generally descends as a son of a devotee, being pleased by the devotee's devotional service. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the father of everyone. No one therefore is his father, but by his inconceivable energy accepts some of the devotees as his parents and descends. It is explained here that spiritual knowledge vanquishes the knot of the heart. Matter and spirit are knotted by false ego. This identification of oneself with matter, which is called Hridaya Granthi, exists for all conditioned souls, and it becomes more and more tightened when there is so much affection for sex life. The explanation was given by Lord Rishabha to his sons that this material world is an atmosphere of attraction between a male and female. This attraction takes the shape of a knot in the heart, and by material affection it becomes still more tight. For people who hanker after material possessions, society, friendship, and love, this knot of affection becomes very strong. It is only by Brahma Bhavana, the instruction by which spiritual knowledge is enhanced, that the knot in the heart is cut to pieces. No material weapon is needed to cut this knot, but it requires bona fide instruction. Kardamuni instructed his wife, Devahuti, that The Lord would appear as a sun and disseminate the spiritual knowledge to cut the knot of material identification. So Kardama Muni, after hearing the uh, distress thoughts of Devahuti, her distress that she did not utilize the opportunity of association with Kardama Muni to gain liberation from this material energy. And she repented having spent all the time with Kardama Muni only in enhancing sense gratification. To this, Kardama Muni is replying that do not be disappointed with yourself, O princess. You are actually praiseworthy. The infallible Supreme Personality Godhead will shortly enter you as your son. So, Kardama Muni gave her a great joy, saying that don't be disappointed. After all, the Supreme Lord is going to take birth as your son. So don't be sorry. Think yourself as fortunate, not unfortunate. Then he says, you have undertaken vows, sacred vows, God will bless you. Because before the trip of sense gratification, we all read how she very sincerely served Kardama Muni in his ashram, uh, completely engaging in his service with great austerity. Even though she was a princess, such austerity she went through that she was practically emaciated. And therefore, you have undertaken sacred vows, God will bless you. Hence, you should worship the Lord with great faith. You continue to worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control, religious observances, austerities, and gifts of your money in charity. Then the personality of Godhead being worshipped by you will spread my name and fame. He will vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahman. So ultimately, Devahuti will be blessed to hear the transcendental knowledge from the son who will be born to her, none other than the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this is the mechanism of this material existence. Though the material existence is a field for the living entities to forget God and think they are independent of God and then they continue their adventure for independent fulfillment of their Satchitananda. So though this is the mechanism of this world, there's something great also that happens even in this material world. From time to time, different incarnations of the Lord manifest in the midst of the society, and it is through the association, service, instructions, surrender to that incarnation of the Lord. Lord is everywhere. Even the material energy is the Lord Himself. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagad avyakta murtinah mastani sarvabhutani. So the Lord is, the material energy itself is Lord's energy. Being the energy, energy is the effect of the Lord. Behind every effect there is a cause. So cause is always accompanying the effect. So therefore everywhere, in every energy, the Lord is potentially there. By me in my unmanifest form, I pervade this entire universe, Krishna says. But then he is avyakta. Whenever he wants, then he will manifest himself as an incarnation of the Lord. As an incarnation, he is born to some devotees who also get a chance to serve him. Just like here, Kardama Muni and Devahuti are getting a chance to become the parents of Kapila, Lord Kapila. So the Supreme Lord can come, his incarnation can manifest either through the parents, and he is not limited, his incarnation need not be limited only through the parents, he can come in so many other ways. As the holy name he can come. Just by installing the deities he can come. He can come means he can manifest in this material plane. And it is by associating with these incarnations, largely by hearing these incarnations, one gets freedom from this material world. And everyone is stuck in this material world by the Hridaya Granthis, which is the knot in the heart. What is that knot in the heart? That knot in the heart is to think that I am the role plays. See, everyone in this material world, we all do activities. Behind the activities, there is some desire. Behind the desire, there is a particular kind of an identity. That identity is, you can say it's a role play identity. We all have a role, but we have got the capacity to adopt so many role play identities. Now those identities are not necessarily, they are not ego. But when we think that that is me, then that is called false ego. And the real ego thinks that the role play identity is me, then that is false ego. For instance, one may say, we execute various duties in service of the Lord. Each duty you will see, you will need a different identity. You need the identity of, let's say, if you are a temple president, you need the identity of a temple president. It is very unique. Each is unique with respect to particular identity. You have got particular desires, particular, jobs, work, results. If I have a role play, just like if I identify with my gender, then I am identifying with the role play that I am a man or I am a woman. But just because you are in a man's body, you don't have to always act as a man. It is only one of the slice of so many different kinds of identities that we have taken. But when we think that I am this body, and then we become focused on the gender, then we are on particular role play we are thinking that is me. Each one of us, it is very natural that it is an opulence of the soul. It can take so many role plays. Even in the spiritual world, you can take so many role plays. I want to be this. I want to be this kind of servant. Like that. So many role plays you can take. It's a great facility. It is a variety of service that you can do to the Lord. But in the material world, there are so many, right from our childhood, we have created so many identities in our mind. In our subtle body, we have created so many identities. Now, these identities are not false egos. When you think these identities are me, that is false ego. What is me? Me is you are a servant of Krishna. That is the definition given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is the definition of soul? Best definition of soul that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given? He has given a functional definition. You are a servant of Krishna. Jiva is a servant of Krishna. Now that is our original ego identity. There is no harm in identifying it with that particular I am a servant of Krishna. Now that I am the servant of Krishna, naturally the moment you define I am a servant of Krishna, then what are the desires of the servant of Krishna? He is to please Krishna. He is to serve Krishna. That's what I was trying to point out. You take an identity. As soon as you say an identity, then there are desires of that identity. Identity-specific desires. So identity is identified by desires, you can say. If you have man's desire, you can trace there is a man's identity. So we have this, each one of us are having this original, our identity, which is our original spiritual ego. And what is the nature of that spiritual ego? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you are a servant of Krishna. It's called a functional definition. He's not saying you are a tree, you are a bird, you are a human being. No, he's not saying that. Yet it is a very concrete definition. You are a servant of Krishna. Because the moment you say a servant of Krishna, the entire range of desires is actually the original desires of the living entity. Now, as a servant of Krishna, I want to be, okay, I want to serve Krishna, I want to be servant of Krishna, I want to be servant of Krishna as you can say, temple president. I want to be servant of Krishna as a departmental head. I want to be servant of Krishna as assistant pujari. These are all role plays. Because a particular assistant pujari means particular role play means duties, desires, everything is there. So these role plays are secondary identities. If you don't think you are assistant pujari, you cannot function properly as assistant pujari. If you don't think that you are, let's say you're given an assignment, you are the head of this department. You cannot function without identifying yourself with what are the roles, responsibilities, everything of that. So there is a role play. Now, when I use that role play, being very well aware that I am not that, but I am servant of Krishna playing this role. When you forget it is a role, when you think it is me, that is called false ego. That is Hridaya Granthis. Can we function in this world through various role plays without identifying that it is me? Then that is action without false ego. Action free from false ego. So these identities are very useful. If you don't have identities, you will be spaced out. You will be spaced out if you don't have identities. So identities are not false egos. When you identify that it is you, then it is false ego. So this is it. We have to be detached. We have to detach means not we have to detach from our roles. Detachment has a very clear meaning. You have to detach yourself from these role plays. Normally what do you detach means I am spaced out. I have nothing to do with this, I have nothing to do with this. Actually detached means myself is not that. Myself is not that doesn't mean that I shouldn't not, use that to serve myself. Myself is a servant of Krishna. So my body is another servant who will serve the servant of Krishna. My senses are my servants. Now when you say my senses are my servants, that my, who is that my? That is important. If you think you are the body, then you will think, okay, my senses should serve my body. So that my is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the definition, you are a servant of Krishna. It's a very important thing. It's a very important revelation it is. It's a functional definition of soul. Somebody says, what is soul? The answer we can give, soul is servant of Krishna. No, that's not what I am asking. What is soul? That is, soul is servant of Krishna. That's the end, definition, that's it. That is the definition. So we should also start identifying ourselves with that definition, a functional definition. It is my eternal definition. I am depth of the, my heart, my being, the depth of my being. Who am I? I am the one who has got the desire, the instinct, the force to serve Krishna. Now if you see, in the conditioned state, those things are not manifest. I am the servant of body. I am the servant of my mind. I am the servant of bodily extensions, self and extended self. So all these different role plays that we do, we should do without identifying the self. Just like driving a car without thinking you are the car. It's as simple as that. If I drive this body thinking I am the body, and that is the last identification that you have, then everything ends with for the satisfaction of the body. Suppose I have been given some duty and I have got somebody, above me, and I have to report to him. You report to him, if you think I don't have to report to him, then everything ends at you. Then there is a problem. Because you are not in the chain as a servant. It ends with you. So this chain has got only one end. That is Krishna. Everything should end at the pleasure of Krishna. It cannot end at our level, our identity level. That is why that definition, I am servant of Krishna, means nothing ends at me. I am servant of Krishna means Krishna. For Krishna. I exist for Krishna. I exist to please Him. I exist to serve Him. So, this is the Hridaya Granthis. This is the, um, if we don't have, let us say, a kind of a, let's say you have, in the society we move around, right? To move around in the society, we need to adopt a social identity. Is it not? Now, when you adopt a social identity, because that gives you a direction for you to function in the society, to relate with the society. If you can engage in this identity, if you can involve in that identification without thinking that that is me, that is another servant of Krishna, and I am servant of Krishna. So I am engaging that identity in service of Krishna. I am engaging in the role play. So this is, even you do for Krishna, that is Krishna consciousness. Just like if you are playing in a drama, you are in a drama on the stage. You have various role plays in the drama. Ultimately, you are aware, in the drama, you are aware that you are there to please the audience. So you are taking that role play, you are doing that role play in the best possible way for pleasing the audience. So if you don't forget that the various role plays that we take in this material world is meant to please Guru and Krishna, you simply think that I am that existence. If you are king in the, for 2 hours you are the king on the stage. And if you think I am the king, that is called false ego. But if you play the role of a king thinking, I have to play the role of the king, very nicely you play the role of the king, knowing very well that after 2 hours I am not the king. It is only an identity, role play identity. So to think that role play identity is equal to your eternal identity, this is called false ego. This is called false ego. So detachment basically means, the correct understanding of detachment means, the self should be detached from these things. Not that you cannot deal with these things. You can deal with everything in this existence, free from false ego. In service. See, free from false ego means you have to be in your ego concept. There are only two things, real ego or false ego. Ego you cannot escape because it is you. It is you. We are spirituals, individuals, unique individuals with free will, a unique center of free will. We are a unique center of experience. Like Prabhupada said, we are all like sparks of Brahman. We are always eternally separate. Amshas of the Lord. So we are unique. So ego we cannot. We are ego. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's definition, I am servant of Krishna, you can put it in another way. Who are you? I am a servitor ego. Krishna's servitor ego. So as long as we identify ourselves with the servitor ego, we should identify. Otherwise, we will identify with some identity of this material world. Starting with the master identity in this material world is, I am this body. I am this body, the whole He has got so many soldiers, so many identities are created. Moment I start thinking I am the body, then I am socially this, I am socially that. So many identities are created. I am father, I am son, I am husband, I am this, I am businessman, I am boss, I am department head, I am this and that. So many identities we are created inside ourselves. Now, what do we do normally in this material world? All those identities are serving your existence. And what do you think your existence is? This body. So right now, all these identities are, in the conditioned state. They all serve what you think you are the existence. If you think I am servant of Krishna, all of them will come and serve that I am the servant of Krishna. It will serve that desire. I am the servant of Krishna, to please Krishna. So this is called knowledge. It is by knowledge that the Hridaya Granthis is cut. It is by knowledge. And this knowledge, it is not information that you are a servant of servitor ego, you are a servant of Krishna. It is not information that will cut you off. It is a force. It is a force of attachment. That force of attachment requires a counter force. And that counter force cannot come unless we show our sincerity to get detached from small things first. That is what is said here. You should have undertaken sacred vows. Hence you should worship the Lord with great faith through sensory control. See, when I think I am the senses, then I have no restriction. I have to satisfy all its urges. When you control your senses, let's say in devotion service, in service of the Lord, when you control, then you need control. You leave the senses to itself, it will go and mix with the sense object and it will gratify. So you need to control. You control that. By every step of this entire habit of self-control, we are actually creating that disassociation that it is me. That it is me. So we need to have this self-control. Without self-control, as said, without that it is not possible to please the Supreme Lord. Should worship the Lord with great faith, sensory control, religious observances, austerities. And by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, if by chanting and hearing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this is not the only method, through all these small austerities and sense control, to get detached from that I, that identity, that for the self to get attached with role play identities, that particular opulence or that spiritual advancement need not come through these small steps. Simply by chanting and hearing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, matter and spirit, when one gets a clear perception, powerful perception within himself. It's not knowledge, it's applied knowledge, the perception, vijnana of matter and spirit, constantly can discriminate between matter and spirit. Then self-control is all what? Nothing. Self-control it's not a self-control at all. Just say no, okay. When something is pushing back and all, then you got a control there. Somebody is pulling, conflict in your mind, this sense is pulling, sense object is pulling. All those things it loses all its force when you can see that these are simply Prakriti and I am aloof from that. When you mix with yourself, then only then those things become your desire. Your identities, we have put our identities in our subtle body, It is frozen in our subtle body that I am a man, I am a woman, right from childhood. Because right from childhood we are not read Bhagavatam. Right from childhood we are learnt how to be part of this world. Now we are learning how to be not part of this world. The self is not part of this world. But from childhood the entire training is how you are the body. How you belong to this society. Entire training is that. So our subtle body has got all these role plays are all put in place. They're all existing. You cannot take them out. Only you can disidentify yourself from that. That cannot be removed. It is there in our subtle body. If you have a Kshatriya spirit, if you have, your mind-body system is a Kshatriya spirit, it will remain. If you have Brahmana spirit, it will remain. Now you should not think, I am a Kshatriya, I am a Brahmana. You can say, somebody can say, okay, I got a Mercedes, I got a, ordinary cycle, or I got a bullock cart, or I got an airplane. These are all different kinds of this. That is characteristic of matter, no? It is characteristic of matter. This body is matter. Either your body is an airplane, either your body mind system is a Mercedes, or whatever it is. We don't think it is me. We utilize that, whatever we have in service of Krishna without identification. So that ability is there when we directly engage in, I am the servant of Krishna. Rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. This bhakti, the process, direct process, especially we are blessed to get an opportunity to serve the mission of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, the holy name, Vaikunta, Goloka mission. We got an opportunity to completely, morning to evening, engage in service of the Lord. And every role play we can engage in the service of the Lord. And then slowly, while the role play is being played, the detachment also comes. The self, which is, of course, no doubt, in the beginning when we do devotional service, it will be mixed with the passion, ignorance, that means false egos. 3 modes means false ego. It will be mixed. But then that ego will separate out, a spiritual ego will separate out and engage in service of the Lord. Just like Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of the institution. It is a designation in this world. It's a designation in the world. And Prabhupada will relate with people in that designation. Is it not? But he is not thinking. But he is not thinking that is him. He will add a servant. Who is he? He is a pure servant of Krishna. I am a pure servant, I am pure servant of Krishna in the role of founder Acharya. If he does not have that role as founder Acharya, then in this world you will not get direction. Okay, what I must be doing. Once he knows he is a founder Acharya, okay, I have to set example. I have to build this institution for Krishna. Acharya has a role. I have to give instructions. So all this, what are the kind of services that has to come, will come from role play. Then our complete engagement is there in the devotional service. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Guru. So like Srila Prabhupada has created different identity in that institution. Like different identities Prabhupada has created.
Role play.
Different role plays Prabhupada has created. So there are devotee role play that he's good devotee, he is more surrendered devotee, and he goes and take up that role play. So when we relate with that role play plus devotee, so how do we relate? We relate with that identity, with that role play, or do we relate with that devotee who can be more surrendered, who have more desire to serve Srila Prabhupada, who can be more purified? How do we relate? With that role play or with that consciousness of the devotee?
No, what role play, to play role you have to have consciousness. So in what consciousness? When you role play, when you play that it is me, that's not called role play. When you role play means you role play for a purpose. You role play for the sake of the role play identity, then you are gone. Then it is called false ego, because you are thinking that you are role play. When you role play for the sake of somebody else, that means the role play is a servant. I am serving Prabhupada. So that is what I said. It is a role play identities are secondary identities. We need to have a primary identity. What is your primary identity? Your primary identity is I am servant of Krishna. So that is very prominent. Role play identity, within a day, 10 role plays you will have. Is it not? When you are with a ashram devotee next to you, you have one role play. When you go and meet your authority, you have another role play. Then you go out and preach to somebody, you have another role play. Is it not? You have to change your role play, otherwise you will be frozen, you cannot function. If you go out to preach to somebody, if you talk to him like another brahmachari in the ashram, can you do your service? You cannot. Immediately you have to adopt your role play. So many role plays within a day we adopt. Is it not? Behind all that, we need to have the role, the eternal identity as servant of Krishna. That is you. That is real ego. When role play identities become ego, that is false ego. So, now, your question. Devotee is completely forgetful of everything and simply they are in the role play. That I am that. That is not good. It will have a reaction in the material plane. It's not pure devotional service. So you can always see when you associate devotees, we are seeing each other as servants of Prabhupada and Krishna. So we associate devotees not with their role play. Role plays are also functional. We associate with them as servant of Krishna. And suppose that devotee is engaged in sense gratification. Then obviously you know that he is stuck in a role play misidentification. I cannot respect that ego. That ego is stuck. His sense gratification is not, it's already bonded now, thinking that I am separate from Krishna. So your ego is trapped in the role play identity. You need to be liberated. So we learn how to see the discrimination when we see devotees gradually. First is we deal with ourselves. This is a laboratory. Here you see how you take identities and where is, we simply think that I am that. When you say I am that, you get very hurt. Somebody says something. Say today you have one service, they take you out from one service and put you in another service. You completely devastated. Why? Because you thought your eternal identity has come from being temple president. When you you move out to another role, everything is finished. But if you are, I have a solid, I am servant of Krishna, that nobody can take away from me. No authority can take away from me. What is that? That service nobody can take away. What is that? Being servant of Krishna, nobody can take away if I decide. They can say, be this kind of servant, that kind of servant, no problem. I am servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. No problem. As long as I am servant of Krishna. Don't tell me to do anything else. Servant of Krishna, you tell me I am your servant. Any other question? Here.
So, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that I'm not a brahmachari, I'm not a grihastha. So, is this what we are supposed to understand from the statement that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes there?
Yes. I am not brahmachari, sannyasi, etc., etc. At the same time, I can have a role play of a brahmachari, sannyasi, etc. Is it not? So you, as long as you know it's a role play as a to serve my ego. What is my real ego? I am servant of Krishna. They should serve me. Brahmachari, the identity that I am a brahmachari and all the do's and don'ts and desires of brahmachari should serve whom? Serve me. Who is me? I am servant of Krishna. Take away I from everything else. Only one definition, I am servant of Krishna. A functional definition. Functional definition is enough now because we are only talking about activity. And when our activity is re-established, then our existential identity also will manifest. Our spiritual body will manifest. Now there is no, now if somebody tells you, okay, this is your spiritual body, what you will do with it? Your spiritual body is that you are a bird, you say, in Goloka Vrindavan. What will you do? Because here you are not having a bird's body. Isn't it? So there is no use to know. But it is very useful to know that you are a servant of Krishna, because their bird is also servant of Krishna. A gopi is also servant of Krishna. Dust is also servant of Krishna. That's what I said. A great revelation is a functional, our eternal functional identity. Our existential identity, who I am not told. But what are you is told. And that much I can add, because everything, you take this karta. There is an existential substance, then there is a functional. Two aspects to everything, substance and function. So one half of it Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealed. Who are you? You are servant of Krishna. Suppose this kartal is told, your function is to give musical sound. So then the kartal knows what, okay, at least something about myself I know. But what exactly shape, my form, everything, I may not know. But you don't need that now. So we don't need those forms now. If you perfect servitude, if you perfect my functional identity that I am servant of Krishna, if that is on the top always, self-identification. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, always be fixed in the self. What is that self? That self is, I am servant of Krishna. Gandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.